say that. Let's take that as read. Carl, in a minute, I want you to unempty your mind and have a thought.
What do you want the thought about?
Well, no, I know. I want it to... What are you thinking of right now?
I am not thinking of anything. So tell me something to think about.
Look, please, you've attempted to conduct this experiment, Rick. It hasn't worked. Okay, can we just have a bit of silence?
Right, Carl, you've got to have a thought.
Rick, please be quiet. Gervais, shut up. Gervais, shut up.
Let me said to you, the thoughts come when they want to come.
Okay, shut up. Everyone shut up. Let's have some silence. And then when the thought comes...
Just say something quietly, Steve?
No, you can't.
He's the only human being on Earth that... I mean, it's been scientifically proven you can't catch yourself not thinking, and he's disproved that theory.
What do you want the thoughts to be
about?
But
what are you thinking now?
Ricky, this is not fair. I wanted to conduct an interesting experiment here.
Explain to him that it's not to do with him contriving the thought.
It's what I'm going to explain.
I think this is the world's problem.
Carl, I want you to just sit there in that chair. We're going to be quiet. Do not think about anything. Do not try and focus on any subject. Just you're thinking about, because you're saying that these thoughts will just pop into your head. So we're going to find out what they are.
Okay.
In your own time, tell us what you're thinking about.
See, there's nothing happening here. There's nothing happening. There's You've got to give the thought something to think about.
Carl, what do you mean? You must be thinking about something now. I'd say, now what's thought in there? Is there a llama popped in there? Or is there a railway?
No, there has. That's the way it works.
So, if you would like to hear more of our musings on the weighty subject of philosophy, you can download the Ricky Gervais Guide to Philosophy from iTunes.
March 17th, it's out if you want it. Alright.
Thanks for listening.
This audio program is presented by Audible.com. Audible. Audio that speaks to you wherever you are.
Hello, I'm Ricky Gervais. Philosophy is the science which considers truth. So said Aristotle, one of the great forefathers of Western philosophy. In its attempt to seek out the truths and principles of human existence, philosophy must answer questions of beauty, of justice, of language, indeed, of the mind itself. To help me consider some of the core concepts and presumptions of philosophical inquiry, I'm joined by Stephen Merchant, graduate of the University of Warwick, an award-winning writer.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And Carl Pilkington, a man with no education, didn't really go to school, no awards, head like a fucking orange, you know the twat.
Alright.
To me, philosophy might be the greatest subject of all academic subjects, the mother of science, asking the big questions, why are we here, how do we live? But it's been sort of mugged and kidnapped by those people who put rubbish under the umbrella of philosophy.
Right.
Cod philosophy. I went into a library once, I looked in the philosophy section, and there was a book by Doris Stokes.
Doris Stokes being, for those that don't know,
a medium who said she was talking to the dead. There's crystals, feng shui.
Feng shui, yeah.
Oh, God.
The interesting thing about Feng Shui is how, I remember someone came into an office I was working in once and she said, you're going to need crystal here above the lavatory to get all the negative chi out of the cistern. And she said, this crystal is £25. And the guy went, we're not going to spend that. And she went, okay, I got one here for £5.
Brilliant.
It was surprisingly convenient that she had a number of different crystals that apparently did the same job.
We're also going to need a brush to get the shit out of the toilet. What have you got for that?
Yeah, there's a lot of that twaddle. There was a woman I remember once, I used to do a radio show on the BBC World Service, and she came in and she could tell from the coloured liquids that you chose, from a big selection of coloured liquids, she could tell a lot about your personality from that. So I picked up about 3 or 4, and she looked at them and I chose like a blue one, just arbitrary, and she looked at me and she said, okay, I get the sense that you like to communicate with people, but on a global level.
You were working for the
I
World
was working-
Service.
as we spoke, we were broadcasting on the World Service. I don't know where. I mean, she just read it from the liquids. As a novice, one of the key catchphrases, if you like, of philosophy, and one that's always intrigued and confused me a little, is the famous René Descartes quote, "I think, therefore I am." A lot of people think of that as the epitome, in a way, of a philosophical statement.
First thing we ever did, I think, at degree level, and it's the one thing I'd already heard of. It's one of those things that sort of filters down, cogito ergo sum, as you say. I think, therefore I am. When Descartes was pondering his existence, just before we get to his conclusion, Carl, how do you know this isn't a dream?
Just because I haven't been sleeping that well.
Right,
No,
okay.
no, but you could still be dreaming, couldn't you? Because this could be a dream that you haven't been sleeping lately. You could be dreaming the last few nights you haven't been sleeping.
In dreams, they're different. Like, I mean, like I say, I don't have that many of them because I don't sleep that well. But when I do have one, there's something different and vivid about it. Now, if I was dreaming all this, I reckon my boiler would have been fixed ages ago. I don't think anyone has a dream that goes on for that amount of time.
Well, it could be a nightmare, but the presumption. But I think you're also presuming that the dream that you could be dreaming needs to be exactly the same as the dreams you think of when you're dreaming. My point is, there's no way of you knowing that this life you're living now as you talk to us is real, and that it's not actually the imaginings of another Carl somewhere else.
There are actually no clues, Carl. There are actually no clues now that this is the real thing.
Well, most of the time, it's 1 minute I'm awake, next minute I'm asleep, then I'm awake again.
Yeah.
Sleep's just...
Do you know the bit between you being awake and awake again? That's called a sleep.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever think things while you're asleep?
Vivid things.
It's that bit between the awake and awake I want to look at.
I told you about one ages ago
Go on.
where you burst in and I was on the toilet.
I never heard this dream. Never heard
The
this.
one that it was like everyone was German and it was at some gig or something, and you opened the door and everyone was looking and laughing at me, and I'm sat on the toilet, and you sort of said, "Oh, that's probably because you're uncomfortable with
Fame.
being put on the limelight."
Yeah,
or whatever.
like that you might be out, yeah, possibly, yeah.
But that's one dream that could be true.
But
Yeah, exactly. Or there is a likelihood that you think, I bet he's going to burst in.
I am always on edge when you're about, when I use the toilet here.
Yeah,
I kind of think, is he busy at the moment?
you have to wait till he's on the phone to go for a piss.
I have to sit there holding the lock.
Yeah.
It's a weird
I mean, it
thing
isn't
to do.
normal.
But there's an example of a dream. But I think what you're failing to grasp is not so much the mechanics of whether this is a dream, but that you cannot know the truth of what you're experiencing. You cannot know that this is reality. It's a question about reality.
So
How do
let's
we
go
know
on
what
to that
reality
then.
is?
What reality is and what we like about reality. Robert Nozick did this thing that if you could go into a flotation tank and you led a whole virtual life and it was the best life possible, you did exactly what you've always wanted. You became the person you wanted to be. You did the best things you could ever dream of doing, and you literally couldn't tell the difference. So it was your life, okay? And you lived your biological life out in that tank and died at 80 and had the best life any person could ever have. You could pre-program it. Would you get into that tank knowing what you know now, knowing that you would have the best life ever, with no heartache, no upset, no loved ones dying?
So what's happening when I'm sort of having a packet of munchies? Am I having them, or are they imaginary?
They're imaginary, but you can't tell the difference. It's the best packet of munchies you've ever had. I love the fact that you went into the flotation tank, and your one proviso was, "Are munchies as good?"
Yeah.
No,
absolutely.
I'm just taking it back to basics.
That is
Right.
basic.
You've got
yeah.
to pre-program your life. That's where you'd start, is it? Munchies must always taste magnificent.
Well, it's just if you can still enjoy the basic things in life, then that's
Yeah,
when you can't
do.
go wrong.
You do. You enjoy them. It's the life you'd ever want to live, and
Yeah,
you're
bit
living
dangerous,
it.
that. Bit
Sorry?
dangerous.
Bit dangerous.
Why? Go on. Why?
Just I don't know, because sometimes I think things don't happen for the best, right?
Right.
sometimes you can sort of think, oh, I'll enjoy that if that happens, and then it doesn't happen, and you've had time to think about
but
what
this
would
is
have happened.
perfect. No, this is built in, because whatever happens is for the best. So not only when you're in this flotation tank are you enjoying yourself, that things just keep getting better or staying
So
as
you
good.
never have a bad day.
You never have a bad day.
But how long would that last for before you go and fed up with this?
Well, why would you get fed up with it? Because you do something else. It's the perfect life.
Bear in mind, you're not aware that you're in the flotation tank. You've made that deal, but then once you're in there, you don't know, you're not aware of being in the flotation tank. You're living your life and it's perfect. You're happy. Well, we don't know how you would be happy. You just have munchies every day and...
Well, yeah,
it's
you'd get in it
more
then. You'd get in it. If you don't know you've got in this tank, if I somehow go to bed at night, someone injects me in the head, and then they go, right, stick him in the tank now, and then I wake up, packet of munchies there, sun's out, Suzanne goes, oh, it's a nice day, we'll go and do something nice. And I go,
Right.
yeah, I'm meant to be at work. She goes, no, I don't have to go in today.
Right.
I go, alright, let's go out then.
Now, what's interesting there is that within this scenario, I gave you any life, you could do anything, and you chose the exact life you've got now, except Suzanne's got a day off. Now, I both love that.
Well, I was a
and
bit
sort of-
suspicious, though, that she's just taking a day off.
No way,
willy-nilly.
it's not happening now. It's not happening, really happening. You could do anything you like. But I like the fact now you're even questioning it and you're not in the tank, and why has Suzanne got a day off, right? Now, I love that, because that suggests to me that you're a nice, happy, satisfied, whatever you want to do it, contented person who's got the perfect life. However, it's almost like you haven't fully understood the possibilities. For example, you wake up, there's the munchies, sunny day, Suzanne's not at work, you go, why aren't you at work?
half
She
a day
goes to
off.
you, hold on though, why are you flying? And you go, I just can. But you hadn't even thought that maybe you could fly or swim or hold your breath.
You just could have some
but-
munchies for
but
breakfast.
Hang on a minute, this is day one.
Oh, okay.
When you go on holiday,
Yeah.
like I said before, you don't turn up and go, right, it's 1 o'clock, jet ski for half an hour, bungee jumping 40 minutes after that, let's
Yeah.
have a nice roti,
Yeah.
and try a little cocktail.
And what do you do? What do you do when you arrive there?
When you get there,
Yeah.
the fella takes your case to the room.
Right.
You have that panic of, am I going to give him too much money? I don't know the currency well enough yet. I don't know how much
More
things
information
are.
than we asked for.
Yeah.
And
No.
the most mundane scenario I've ever heard.
No, but this is what happens in real life.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So you have that scenario. You go, right, where's my shorts? You get them on. You go out and have a
In
wander.
the case,
You have a wander round
Yeah.
to know where everything is. The
Car
shop,
park you did
the
once.
shop. How close the beach is.
Yeah.
Is it busy?
Yeah.
Okay, you're just telling us what happens when you go on holiday. What's your point?
Okay.
Because you don't want fun all in one go. You want to build to it because that's sometimes part of it.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So-
Anticipation. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Yeah, that little bit.
Yeah.
It's about things taking time, innit? Then looking back at the journey and going,
Yeah.
how did I get here?
Okay, well,
Right.
can I ask a question? Because sorry, what I'm fascinated to know is if you decided to sign up to the float tank idea. Okay, you can design your perfect life.
But I'd prefer not to
Well,
know I'm doing it.
No,
You
you
won't
don't. You
know.
won't. But I
You
want to
won't
ask
know.
this question. Imagine Ricky and I are the doctors. Okay, we can put you in this tank. All we need to know from you now is what your perfect life is. We're going to program it in the computer. You're going to wake up tomorrow. You won't know this conversation's happened. You'll have the perfect life. What, if you don't mind, we're going to take notes now. What is the perfect life? You're still obviously living with Suzanne.
We've got
but
munchies.
What else?
We've got munchies and we got sunshine.
But what else would you like in your magical life your ultimate life?
I think I prefer
hair?
No, because then I'd know it's not real.
No, you
No,
would
wouldn't
never
know.
know.
It just,
You
no,
would
it just
never
came
know.
back. Suzanne comes in one day and goes, why aren't you working? She goes, look, okay, I've left my job. Can we leave the why am I at work? I'm always going to be here, right? I've got a new tonic, right, from Boots. She pops it on your hair. Boop, baby gorilla.
Yeah, I don't like this idea. Suddenly Suzanne's never at work. I just think you need a bit of the badness to have the goodness.
Right.
Right. In
sorry.
a minute, you're going to be injected in the head, you're going to go to sleep, you're going to be in a flotation tank, but you are going to suddenly leave this office and it's going to be a virtual world. You can do what you want. You can suddenly go, what was I hanging around with that bloke off the office for? I'm a spy.
You can
And
be
you go to
whatever.
MI5 and they go, thanks for coming in, Pilkington. Listen, Drosky, he's coming from Russia and he's got the... Bang! What do you do? What's your scenario? What do you do as a job? We've got munchies, Suzanne's
I'd
never
prefer,
at work.
I'd prefer
What-
to leave everything as it is.
Brilliant.
Go in
Right.
it, but have everything the same so that I'm going, hang on a minute, has it actually happened?
What are you talking about?
No, you don't know about this. You don't know anything that's happened.
No, because you've just said you're gonna put me in the tank, and you asking.
Tank?
Once you're in the
One
tank,
tank.
you won't know. You'll have a new life, a life that you've designed.
Yes.
You'd have different memories if you wanted. You could be 5 again, or you could be now, but you weren't born in
No,
Manchester.
I prefer it to be the same with the same memories, but the difference is when I next get British Gas round, they go, "Oh, Mr. Pilkington, yes,
Oh my God!
the boiler
so
is
he's like
fixed."
to have a virtual life, so his boiler's fixed.
No,
Yeah, but so your boiler still goes wrong in your dream, but it gets fixed.
But you don't
Yes.
even need a boiler. You could be the perfect temperature
But
all
live
the
in the
time.
Caribbean anymore. I don't like the idea of too much change. I don't want that much of a change.
But
to
you
my life.
won't realise, it won't feel like change.
Well, it's changed already. You're saying the boiler's been fixed like that. I'd prefer to still have that problem. Go, hang on a minute. Is this different? Suzanne's still going to work.
Right.
That's really important too.
But then,
You don't want her around all day.
but then, things happen that
on.
wouldn't have happened in this world.
Go on, then.
Such as?
Right, okay, let's write that. Well, let's see the differences. What do you do? Because I've got to program this. So you've got the same job, all that. Are we still around?
Yeah, because it's part of.
I'm
it's
gonna ask
part
you
of
a
the
question
same
now.
thing.
Do I still squeeze your head every time I see you, rest you to the ground, and wind you up, trying to stress you out, call you at all hours? Do I still do all that? What am I like?
You're still the same, and you still do that. But maybe one day I go, don't do that anymore because it does annoy me, and you go, okay. And then
stops.
I've dealt with it. I've sorted that problem, as opposed to this machine, this tank deciding.
Right.
I don't like the idea of this tank
Right.
making life good for me.
Right.
I want a few problems, and if there's a problem, I want to sort it.
Okay.
But
We've hit the nail on the head there. We're going to go back to this because it's fascinating. But Nozick concluded that no one would get into the tank because we'd rather have a real life with all its problems than a fake life. And I sort of think you've proved that by even getting into the tank with your provisos and scenarios. I mean, you've changed nothing except your boiler being fixed and me stop squeezing your head
But
now
hang
and
on a
again.
minute.
Which makes me think that you should have your boiler fixed. And then you will have the perfect life that you can imagine.
yeah, but it's that old chestnut, isn't it? It's the thing of like, what's my problem then? You've got
Right.
the problem gene in your head. You've got to fill it with a problem.
Yeah, he's not a geneticist.
Got the problem hole in your head.
No, it's
Got
not.
the problem hole in your head. Shut up, Ricky. Let him say what he needs to say. He's got a
said
problem
it.
hole in his head.
He's got a problem hole in his head. It's called his mouth.
Yes.
Right, that is your problem hole.
So, if someone comes up and they go, I've fixed your boiler.
Sorry, could I just ask
No, let him speak
Let
for-
me ask one question, Steve. Is the problem hole different from the problem gene, or is that a new term for...
No, you put things through the problem hole and they end up in the problem gene. You feed something in the problem hole.
Is that right, Carl?
It goes through the problem
Yeah.
tube into the problem gene.
Okay, so it's down the problem conduit. Okay, go on. Right. So it's better to have... You've got a problem hole in your head, right?
Yeah. So you stuff in a problem into the problem
Problems.
hole. In it
Okay, yeah,
goes.
okay.
Now, all the little problems can't get in because of the big problem.
Right. Is that good or bad? It's a
But
good
that's
thing to
not true,
have.
is
The
it?
problem hole is a standard size on everyone.
Right.
Right, no, but that's
Shut
not...
up, Ricky. Let him explain.
Now, Ricky, I'd say his problems are not even problems.
Well, how big's his problem hole?
Same size as mine.
Same
Right,
size as
okay.
yours.
But his problems are all little ones. They're like, you've got like a load of Skittles. I've got a big cream egg.
Right, but why...
Shut up! Let him speak. He's just expanding on his idea. Why
But
do you
what is
keep
his
interrupting?
problem? What is your problem that's so big
Okay.
compared to my little
Loads
Skittles?
of problems. You get stressed out about things that I'm like, what's up with you? You get annoyed easily with stuff. People chewing loudly, or someone breathing loudly, or someone coughing. Whereas I'm like, that doesn't matter. Like you say, to you, the boiler is like, get it ripped out, put a new one in. It's not as easy as that.
It is.
That's why the problem ball is growing.
He's got a gene, a ball, and a hole.
So the problem
No
ball-
wonder there's no fucking room for a brain.
Right, shut up. Let me ask. I want to clarify this. The problem ball exists in life. That gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It has to go through the problem hole, down the problem tube, into
And
the problem
bounce
gene.
into the problem gene.
Right, now then. So you've got the problem ball. Everyone's problem hole is the same size.
Everyone's.
Okay.
But some people's problems are smaller, so they can slip straight into the problem hole.
I've got a question, Stephen.
Wait.
And listen, has anyone got a pair of problem balls, or is it always just?
Could ladies have a pair of problem balls?
No, because Hitler had one problem ball, didn't he? But could anyone ever have a pair of problem balls? Is my question to you.
And some people's problem balls are much bigger than another man's or another woman's, right?
Yeah,
Right.
depending on the problem.
So you could have a pair of problem balls and one problem hole.
The way I'm
If you
saying
went,
it,
okay, look,
Listen.
supposing I came to you and said, listen,
But a man starving in a foreign country might have huge problem balls.
he might have, but if I went to a doctor and said I've got a problem hole, and the doctor said, well, let me see it, and he said, well, let me see your problem hole, and hanging down in front of my problem hole was a huge pair of problem balls, what would he